What is up, ladies and germs? Welcome back for another episode of We Draft Paper. And this is my first paper draft for Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I am very excited. Um, I, I love Avatar, like as the show. I think the show is quite a masterpiece in its own way. I think it's the storytelling, character development. I even enjoy the bad episodes like that go along with it. I just like it a lot. So here, in our first pack, we do. So this is Ancestral Recall, the first that blue draw spell for lessons. So I do want to take that, but I think the safest pick is Hakoda, which is a 3/5 vigilance for 4. And you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast allies from the top of your library, and then you can sack Hakoda for a to give all other allies indestructible and +0/+5. So taking a mono white card over a multicolor card is going to be best. I think the actual pick was between that and then the draw spell. But I think Hakoda just actually gives me direction too. Yeah, I guess the draw spell gives me direction to lessons, but I think Hakoda has more to offer there though. Here I'm picking between Team Avatar and Toph. So no real commitment towards a single color. I think Team Avatar probably would have been better, but I end up getting one anyways later on. I may actually have wheeled that very one, to be honest, but I'm happy with specking on Toph too because it is an ally as well. It could be 3-color allies. We could see, and I take Iroh's whatever it's called, where it deals 4 damage to target creature or 1 damage to each creature the opponent controls. In this card, I will go ahead and say the Glider Staff was probably the best card in my deck. The card was just so incredibly good. Being able to bounce their thing and it just flying is really good in this set. I feel evasion period. There's a lot of good ground creatures, and like earth bending being a main mechanic does not go in the air very well. And so yeah, feeling fine about this. And then I pick up a 2-drop here. I do find myself pretty short on 2-drops throughout this draft anyways. But and this card actually was outperformed my expectations through tonight's draft. Every time I have it on 2, it works out well because I ended up leaning into some combat tricks and things like that for that card, and it was really good. Gaining a life and scrying, especially in white, like it's my form of card advantage in a lot of ways. So it did its job, even if it's an ally too. So I'm just leaning into the bit, have a stronger commitment towards allies, more commitment towards allies than I am on colors. So I'm trying to see how it rolls out and see what we can do. This deck was good. It was a very aggressive Boros deck. I feel like I lacked in 2-drop creatures. I think that was the only thing that could have made this a little bit better. But that made a couple picks that you guys will see soon. That'll show its value, and I'll explain those and why when we get there. But just right here, just kind of considering different options, thinking about green. I'm seeing some white flow, but nothing crazy. Not in this particular pack. There's only the 1-mana 1/1, which doesn't do a whole lot for me because it's an Ox. It's not a ally in any shape or form, and neither was the Performers. But I found having a card that has the word trample on it can be quite good in this set. So, treetop villagers is pretty nice. Nice little pickup. I do consider land considering that I have some earthbending things going on. So not a bad place to be, and it makes another body, so it's its own 2-for-1. And I was happy with how this pick ended up. I think in this spot, the land may have been a little bit better because it does filter colors as well. But I'm glad I kind of stuck to simplicity. It was the treetop guys are an ally, and it's a 2-for-1. So I feel fine about that. I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much because there was some earthbending stuff kind of going through. And I'm always expecting to open a Badger Mole Cub because the card is just absolutely broken. So in this spot, I'm looking at some removal, or I'm looking at the Meteor Sword. I like the Meteor Sword. I think it's actually really good. It just deals with anything, and just leaving a piece of like quality equipment on the battlefield, I think is big game. So, and it giving +3/+3 is going to be really good with my cheaper creatures that it looks like I have so far. But yeah, I ended up going 3-0. We do have some gameplay today for my phone actually died as we got into the second match of my second pairing, and it was actually a really good game. A lot of back and forth, some complexity, and just we both had to kind of throw haymakers the whole game to like he has the upper hand, I have the upper hand, he has the upper hand, I have the upper hand, or I have the upper hand, he stabilizes, I get the upper hand again, he stabilizes, goes up a turn. Like it was a lot of back and forth. I pick up the Saga here just in case like we ended up in the green space. I do like that it gives a couple 1/1 counters on things and has some incremental value there. But it was a 35-minute game one. So though it's just one game of our best of 3 match, we did go to we were just in time, but game was over as they called time. So yeah, this is I think the combat trick this late super great, and I think my favorite color is red, and I do think red and white are the best colors in the set. I think they can trade depending on what kind of deck you got. I think white may be a little deeper, but red with its aggression and all the firebending stuff, I think provides a lot of strength in this set. Especially when you have things that are good with firebending, like it's good to know. So feeling good. I'm looking at these cards and I'm like, well, Boros is what I think off of this build is what I want to be. But I keep looking at this Toph. So Toph is kind of really giving me the stutter step as far as full commitment. But I feel good about how many playables I have, even if I don't play green. So feeling fine. It's a pretty good pack one. Got some just like assertive cards in there. So some removals. The Team Avatar is a really good card in this set as well. Really good on flyers, and I have the equipment that gives +1/+1 in flying with some tempo play to it too. So like we're feeling good. I didn't get all the real homies out tonight. The guy I played in round 2, he's a homie. He's a really good player. He plays super tight, and I always enjoy our matches, whether they go good or bad for me. He's a good player. It's a nice challenge. So I open here So, okay, the right pick here is Firebending Lesson. It's just that card right up front. It's just the best card. And then I get duped. Or actually, it's not this is the right card. It's the 4/4 gives cards haste as they gives allies haste as they come in or some another, which is a really good card. But then I have the Rise of Sozin right behind it, so I'm like, oh man. So a lot of contemplation. You're gonna catch me exposed here as and it's only like a $10 card. Like I don't even mind to pass the card, but there's two good cards in there for me, and I ended up just taking neither of them to where I was like, oh, dang it. Just feels bad. Airbending Lesson, super great. Cadets. I do note Cadets because I know that this deck needs to be super aggressive, and based off of everything that I have now, and I think it's my favorite card of the set, that's for sure. But I think that the Cadets like give me more of an assertive direction. Like, all right, we just need to beat face. Like, it's good with interaction. It's good in the space of especially when I have like a couple lessons going on. Like, seems good. So I feel good about that pick over the correct pick could have been Airbending Lesson, but I was fine taking the Cadets there, and I know I want to keep my curve low, and it ends up being super important that I picked up the Cadets because like having those early plays go a long way. So this was a tough pick. Not really. I mean, Avatar's Wrath basically helps me finish off games because what it does, it airbends all creatures except for one target creature. You have my biggest creature on the battlefield. I target that to stay on the battlefield, and they cannot cast anything, cards not from their hand, until your next turn. So came up a lot. The card actually saved me in my second game of my round one, as I was running out of gas and I was in top deck mode, and he had some like unblockable things going on. I was dead next turn, so I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. Boom, swing in for lethal, and took that game down. Yeah, this was a 3-0 deck. Had some, I would say, really good opponents. My round 3 was a guy that hasn't played, and he plays with his kids that come up, but he had a round 1 bye into winning his next round, so that put him in the 3-0 or the 2-0 bracket with me, but it ended up working out. Like, he had another Boros deck, which was fine as well, but I don't remember this pack. Oh yeah, Master Piondo is a really good card for this deck just because you got the ally synergy, and it's a good attacker. It's really good with the staff, the airbend staff, or the staff that gives +1/+1 flying and airbends. So feeling good about the top end. I do have some concerns about my curve, like understanding I need to prioritize some of that, but I also wanted to stay heavy on the ally synergy. I almost duped myself here. I almost took the glider kids, but in May, in retrospect, in this spot, I feel like I probably should have took May, but then I almost missed the Suki in the back, so I ended up putting down the glider kids, and then luckily just kind of doing a little, as I shuffle, I see Suki. I'm like, oh, missed that card. Let's try that again. So always pay attention to every card in the pack. But it happens. So I'm considering the land if there's nothing else in here, but there's a fire cadets. So feeling They are great in multiples, so feeling good about picking up another one in this spot here. Also considering the having enough lessons in my deck to make them tick. I think I ended up with 3, which is just fine. Yeah, Fire Nation Cadets is so good. So good. Yeah, round 1 I go up against a Sultai like value deck, and their deck was scary, but I had some like gross draws to really push me through those. Enjoyable matches though. Oh yeah, and that guy of Rage dropped, or yeah, he 0-1 dropped after our game. I'm like, ugh. Wish that happened sometimes, and sometimes it's just not your night. So like, as I'm not trying to throw shade, because I think I've done it. I think maybe once, but and it's usually on nights that like none of my friends are around, so I'm like, it's whatever. It's just I enjoy Magic and the game within itself. I don't need much more, but it's so much more enjoyable with friends around as well. This is kind of in a spot where I take a second Master Piondo, which I don't want my curve to be that high, because I think 1 is enough, and it's legendary, so like 2 is kind of like dead card zone. But I'm also considering my green, like do I still want to do green? But then I'm also considering the land because it fixes for the Rise of Sozin, and still trying to keep a dream alive, and I opt to do that. I'm doing just fine on playables. I think this is a spot where like you can throw this for potential upside. Like if I get another black bomb and pack 3, like I think I'm in like I think I'm in Mardu like at that point. This would have been actually a good land for me, but the firebending lesson comes back. I'm like, oh yes, like that was a gift. I would have took the 2/5 Appa ally card if not for that. But I ended up really fat on 4 drops, so much so that I had 2 of the Kyoshi Warriors, and I ended up cutting 1, which was incredibly painful because that card is really good in this deck, but I just had so many 4 drops, I just had to smooth it out at some point. And this wheeled as well. Super nice. It's an ally, gives basically sack it and protect one of my ally cards with indestructible at instant speed, so really good in a deck like this when I just want to be assertive and keep punching through. I'll just take the uncommon at this point, just not really affecting that, and get a free land late. So like the Rise of Sozin's looking kind of live, and I don't mind that last shrine. Like there are matches where I may want to play that because it just makes a 1/1 monk with prowess. Come to find out, there was definitely a good shrine deck out there. A lot of shrines came through, a lot, and so I saw a green, 2 reds, a white, shrines kind of come through. I'm like, man, there was a pretty good shrines deck somewhere, but I'm glad I didn't have to draft it. I mean, it is fun when you can draft it and like a good version of it, but so I'm looking to keep my curve low through this pack. Heartless Act's good. But then we get Suki here, so I'm like, oh, that's a quality 3 drop, but I'm passing the, what is it? I keep wanting to call it the Unagi. But the Unagi is super, super good. And I knew based off of like what I was passing the person across from me, that he was in blue. I'm like, and I even mentioned, I'm like, bro, I'm feeding you, dog. He's like, you don't know what colors I'm in? I was like, no, I know what I'm feeding you. I know what kind of cards I kind of passed you. And he even tried to bluff me halfway through. the third pack when I kind of called him out. And he's like, "No, man, I was like, well, I was about to pass him a grand, and he's like, I'm about to pass you old granny." He's like, "Well, I'm not blue," and he kind of kept serious about it. And then like a couple picks later, he's like, "No, I'm blue," but I think he didn't want me like cutting him off, which that's not what this is all about. Like, I don't do much of that unless I'm sweating against my friends, but like he's just a good dude, so like I wasn't even trying to mess with him like that. And plus, rather try to make my deck a little bit better anyways. So he's the one that I'm feeding that he ended up with two Yanagis and a pretty strong lesson deck. A lot of interaction. I think the Lost Ways, that 5 mana tuck a card under the top or second from the top. He had like 3 of them, which I'm not a big fan of that card, but he put them to good use. Like, it was really good. That card's actually really good against airbending. I'm sorry, not airbending, earthbending, and actually dealing with lands and like kind of looking at 2-drops here. That's why I'm gonna pick the Fire Sages. Just a good uncommon, good solid 2-drop. They kind of have to deal with it, or I just keep pumping. But yeah, his deck was pretty good. Airbending lessons, super good. Once I find something different, get a second Toph here, but I don't think the second Toph is as. I think there's diminishing returns. But Haru, this is a tough pick because like, all right, so I'm looking at Tophs. I'm like, well, am I green? Like, am I splashing green? Because Haru is pretty good in the sense of it's a good payoff for allies. So like I don't have like big payoff for allies, but I just have good cards that support allies. So there's a big difference in that, right? So you get a big ally payoff, or you just have a good synergies that surround allies. And like little benefits, like Master Piondu, it searches for allies as you dig into your on attack triggers. And but Haru is like more so a real payoff. Like things happen straight up when you have. This is where I told him about Grand coming through. He's like, I'm not blue. No. Like, yeah, I know you're blue. Like, huh? Would have fooled me. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, would have fooled me. I knew I was feeding you. But in this spot, taking the combat trick, kind of, I'm understanding that my 2-drop slot isn't huge, but like I have 2 of the cadets that also make like combat tricks good. If I'm going cadet into combat trick to kind of fill that 2-drop slot, and I'm also looking at the removal spell deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. As we're going back and forth talking about what colors he's in. I think the maneuvers is probably the best pick here. I think I like it a little bit more because I just want to keep staying assertive in my deck to make the statement that I'm probably attacking this turn. To make them play differently, play less to the board, more to interaction with my cards, and like the maneuvers can win some of those interactions as well. Came up a lot where like the one it's +3/+1 and make a clue, but the +1 to toughness came up a lot, like just enough to save creatures. Love the this Boros card, the sun, whatever they are. So yeah, feeling good. Good spot that we're in. We're getting signposts on commons. And that I'm pretty sure that pick was just solidified. Like I need to stop messing around, going back and forth on what colors I'm in. Like let's just stay in. I think the right pick here was May, but I think I underestimated how many 4-drops I already had, so I picked up the second Kyoshi Warriors. The double striking equipment. Um, was it in my deck? I may have cut in that card, but it would have been a nice little effect too. I think I cut it because I ended up not having like much of any trample, which was a big deal. Which that just makes that double striker a lot better. The Kyoshi Warriors. Once again, kind of underestimating. I wish I would have picked up May. May would have been really good in this deck. I think this is probably my most winning archetype of deck in this set so far, like based off the games I played in Arena. I played one game, or I had one draft in Arena where I had 5 cadets and 5 fire bending lessons. It was absolutely disgusting. Like, they were just so hard on the back foot. It was so gross. And it was just a good Boros deck. It was just, outside of that, it's just good. Good. Like 10 of my cards are just so oppressively assertive. It was actually hilarious. Like, that deck was really good. One thing about playing these games, or like shooting these videos, like you get to see my chef hands, or just like currently I have 3 different cuts on my hands. I'm just like, oh yeah, they're there. No shame. Light removal spell here deals 4 to target attacking or blocking creature, and you gain life equal to the excess damage dealt this way. I know I'm white. I'm not taking Rocky Rebuke. I think I'm chatting back and forth. Oh, this is where he said, like, I was just kidding about not being in blue. I'm definitely in blue. I'm like, oh, I know, Doc. Like, I know. All right, as we kind of wrap this up, this is going to be the deck list that we put up here. As you can see, 2 cadets is going to be good. I have Suki in both forms, uncommon and rare. I have Akoda, the Sun Warriors, Avatar's Wrath, like good assertive spells as opposed to like things like that. And now we're in the gameplay. Yeah, he's a type player. Like, he was like, hey, we could film if you want to, because he comes up all the time as well. He's also a regular as well, and he always collects these Universe Beyond sets. It looks like he's almost done. He's like 15 cards off his Final Fantasy collection with all the full arts and all the things, and his brother's collecting for the for this Avatar set. So, the Rise of Sozin, he ended up trading me for like the 4 mana Iroh saga. Not Iroh. Yeah, it is. No, it's the Fire Roku. The Roku saga. So, and then the 6 mana artifact that scries and casts cards for free. Which there was, at the end of this game, there was a really weird interaction with that, because no, it was the end of the second game, which you guys don't see the second game because my phone ended up dying. But there was an interaction where we were in combat. He activated it to get a scry, but how the card words, it doesn't say when. Like, if you do it in combat, if the card you choose to scry and leave on top and reveal or look at, if it's a sorcery speed card like a sorcery or a creature or whatever have you, you can just play it for free. But like the timing restrictions I thought mattered. Evidently it didn't. So it didn't end up affecting that too much, but enough. It was a kind of like a big play. I think he had mentioned that he had me in that game, but I don't think so because I believe I was sitting on interaction in my hand of some sort. So, like on top of Sun Warriors interactions of putting 1/1s um, in as well, or making tapping 5 to make 1/1s, and it was deep enough in the game. So here I just end up using the combat trick, gaining 3 life or 4 life if you include the when this creature becomes tapped, you gain a life. Scry. That comes up a lot, like a lot. And this card was just great on 2 for me. It really was. Having this combat trick, this and removal, and just dealing with their threats, like it's just really good. They're able to stun it down. Unfortunately, after it's already attacked, I play Suki, giving it +1/+0. And then whenever a permanent leaves the battlefield, I get to make a 1/1 ally. Activates once a turn and only on my turn. So Suki was pretty good. 3 mana, 2/4. Pretty nice. And he takes it out right away. So fine spot for that. He chooses not to get aggressive here. Yeah, my deck just, it does show a lot of assertiveness, that's for sure. I think I do have the maneuvers in my hand to where it gives +3/+1 and it makes a clue token. And I think I opt to try to save it just because like the life gain and the scrying has been smoothing me out pretty well. I don't think it's a great target to try to take out, but when I'm up on the board and being able to make a clue token, like I feel like this isn't bad, like exchange, because I think the clue token was more valuable to me at this point in time. Kept my scry on top. He is hitting his land drops. He ends up flooding out pretty hard this game. May's a good card in this spot too. Hitting 4 mana is big with this deck just because my 4 drop slots are disgusting, but I opt to just airbend that and play a Cadets, I believe. Life gaming up at 26 just off this little guy and then that 1 removal spell. So instead of dropping a 4-drop, just kind of tempo them a little bit and get some card advantage and get a Cadets out. So felt like a pretty strong turn for me. Not too much for them to do. And then he plays the Roku Saga card. And then on the backside, it turns into a 4/4 with Fire Breathing 4. And then you can tap 8 colorless and make a 4/4 dragon with flying and Fire Breathing 4. Fire Bending 4. Which is really good. I do have bits of interaction in my hand. I'm pretty sure I have the Fire Bending lesson and Iroh's intervention. Or Iroh's, the 2 mana deal 4. So I have answers to it, but I also want to stay assertive. Like, understanding that it's going to come out soon, I'm really wanting to like stay aggressive and try to clock him. Because kind of, he didn't really take a turn off, but he definitely didn't. So at this point, I just want to turn a corner. I have 2 bits of removal, so let's kind of keep getting in damage at this point. And that also puts a lesson in my graveyard. I guess I had 2. I had an airbending lesson already in, so I get my tapped trigger off those guys, and I think I just pump cadets to the moon. Cadets is so good. It's such a basic card, but the mechanic of firebending is a lot of fun. Being able to build decks around like in combat interaction is pretty freaking sweet. Oh yeah, so I do pump the cadets up for 1, and then I play the 2/3 flyer scry. So getting 2 scries to the bottom was nice because I believe they were both lands, and I'm looking just to kind of stuff all my value, just get cards out there. He had some pretty quality bounce back turns. And he's up to 7 mana, so like needing to take care of this Roku is going to be important, because needing to make sure that he can't do it and have, at first, for whatever reason, I thought it was like water bending for the 8 mana ability to make a dragon, but it's not. So it is hard to do it, but it needs to be attacking for sure for it to make that big of a deal. He's kind of taking a turn off. Not really taking a turn off. But he plays the Star 3 Lessons Dragon, and then he taps down all my guys. With stun counters as he pays for it. This feels like a good turn to try to get Piondo down, but he quenches it, so, and that's fine. There's still action in my hand. I got answer to Iroh, and he's relying on the top of the deck, so don't feel too bad about this. But him getting that quench was really good for him, in the sense of like I had to deal with it. I'm pretty sure he topped the Unagi, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he did. Yeah, and you passed the turn in that spot too. I think I play around that actually really well this turn. So this is something, I mean, I have the 5 mana to kick the firebending lesson here, but I think I pick up the equipment to airbend one of his things, and I'm considering airbending the Roku here. Which doesn't feel good because he just gets his value all over again. But I'm also considering the tempo game plan. Trying to make sure I get the power of the Izzet Dragon correct, so I know what, if I can attack with anything, or like with my fly kids or whatever it is, and glider kids. Kind of tough spot because he was able to stabilize pretty good, getting Mei, Roku, and the dragon down in the same turn, or right, like back to back to back. So like we kind of just have to go for it. So getting that dealt with felt really good. My attacks still are not that great, especially when I'm tapped out, but I think it was worth getting more information to see if he had any interaction in that spot. And I think me opting to not, because he plays the Unagi, was very, I'm glad I didn't play into that, because like attacks like could have been fine, but it just really wasn't great. I wasn't at that spot, I was not wanting to trade for anything. Especially them having the counter to put on May. So glad I did not roll into that one. So I'm feeling probably more on the back foot than I probably should. However, having some options is good. I did scry so many mountains to the bottom of that, just trying to get playables, and I don't have any double pipped red cards. So like I was like, it looked bad that I only have one mountain now, but it was actually worked out just fine. And this feels fine. Bouncing the whelp. This will allow me to get in a little bit more damage. Because I'm going to attach it to when it becomes tapped, scry 1, gain a life. So I'm just getting in for a little bit more damage, get a little bit more scrying on. Seems pretty good. And I actually messed up attacks here. Because I should have attacked with the 2-3 as well. No reason to not do in that spot. Like if they were going to start, I gained enough life to where I can take a couple quality hits. Because it becomes complex just because like we're trying to find out who is racing who. Like, or are we racing, or does he just need to be on the defense and or the offense, or like what that really looks like. This is an easy no block for me in this turn. And attack go, like, yeah. I feel fine about that. I understand that his deck relies on interaction, but he has one card in hand. He kind of grinds it out, though. Like, he gets through a lot of his deck. He actually... Does he mill out? He had one card left in deck. But I think I had him. Yeah, I think that's what happened. This may be a turn where I drew the Sun Warriors. But I'm also considering where I want to put these, utilize my mana, putting around the equipment, just getting in as much because their dragon is actually kind of like stuffing me at this point. So I opt to offer trades. I'm pretty sure he was expecting another combat trick of some sort, like another maneuvers, but that was not my intention. I think that I valued the scribe very highly in this spot, so putting it on the bottom was just fine. You know, like it's good, it did its job, and now I can kind of like I think I have a play and then move my glider away. This is Kyoshi Warriors. Get some block out. Maybe at this point I'm feeling just fine about maybe doing some chumping with some 1/1s and things like that. Just understanding that I am in the air and he is not is big deal. He plays his big artifact. Yep. So this card is pretty good, and it's pretty good in his deck too because basically tap 1, tap it, scry 2, and then you get to scry them however you want, and then you reveal the top card of your top card you don't reveal it. You look at the top card of your library, and you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. So, and I thought there was like some real time restrictions in that. But I guess there wasn't. We did end up calling the judge over just because, like, hey, is that how this works? I'm pretty sure that was in match 2. But it did come up, like, because it matters, like, kind of when you do it too. Because he was trying to cast the 3 mana uncommon that is a 0/0 vehicle that you can exhaust Waterbend 3 to make it into a creature. And like, can you do that during combat? It was tough. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if like you think that interaction works like at instant speed. Evidently he looked it up and it's like what I'm finding, which, and that's fine, I believe him and all, but also the judge said he also looked it up on his phone and it said that timing restriction does matter. So I get in with the cadets and pump it to the moon. Decided to throw the turn back to him. Play out my hand because I do think like I have 2 mana sinks at this point. I have the cadets as a flyer, just getting more damage, and or I have the Sun Warriors, which was a great draw, giving just making more 1/1s to prevent his attacks from looking too good or beneficial. His deck's starting to look pretty slim. I was actually unsure, especially now playing waterbending lesson. I'm like, all right, so you're getting through there, and I kind of have a nice little niche system going on here, making 1/1s for chumping. He doesn't have evasion or anything, so I'm feeling good about where I'm at. My attacks don't look like incredibly great, I would say, but it's a good combo is like having the glider staff and then also having Team Avatar enchantment, just attacking for 1 creature when I'm already gone wide. Getting super buffs in there too. So he's trying to determine like if he's getting aggressive or not. He even says like, is this like kind of where I need to start try to beat face in? But like that's not looking good like with my 1/1s. Like he's in a precarious spot. He's gonna have to have a pretty dirty turns going on. Pretty sure he has like less than 9 cards left, maybe 7. And he's also looking at his artifact to like actually get more benefit off it, but every card that he kind of plays off is 1 more card drawn, so it's 1 less turn. I kind of just want to go all in here. I do have a land that I have here, but he chooses to tuck the card. There was another cadets that I think I ended up bottoming that on one of my scries, which didn't like that was kind of rough, but which I would have probably rather have drawn just for like cards like that, but still like getting attacks in with the Sun Warriors isn't a bad thing. It's a 4/6 with firebending, 3 with what's on the board right here, and plus I have I'm just playing all my lands at this point because I have 8 lands, another couple lands I can start double activating, not even including the fire breathing. So I think he should have attacked in a previous turn because this would be an unfavorable attack for me if I didn't have a chump block here. So this is where he does it during instant speed. So I was happy with that because whatever he does needs to be an instant is how I'm understanding the interaction. So it wasn't the second game, it definitely was this game. And we're going back and forth about how that interaction works. And it's complex. The card is definitely not optimally worded. So it makes it complicated to understand like time restrictions. Like I feel like with a card like that, you gotta make it clear of like what time restrictions are. So he chooses to scry like this. And then what does he do here? Then he chooses to flip it. And it's the vehicle that bounces. So this is kind of where we kind of go down the rabbit hole of the interaction. I'm like, well, that doesn't really make sense because of time restrictions. Like, yes, I actually made the thing is like, well, it's just like Snapcaster Mage. You can't just cast something out of its time restriction. Even if it's from flashback, but I just really do feel like that matters. But it was an interaction. But yeah, this is Scott came over to he had to look it up too. It's just I think a poorly worded card. You just need like a couple more words, like within time restrictions, or yeah, it's just complicated. But, I mean, this game is getting really tight because he's turning a corner. He has plenty of things going on. He has a draw land. His creatures are better than mine. So, we ended up playing as Scott kind of called it to where so I let him just kind of like take it back because he ends up scrying it and just doing it. And before we kind of rewinded that and doing it before, he kind of kept same attacks, but he's choosing to do it like this. And then it's a casual match, so like not making too big of a fuss on it is a big deal. Just like it's a casual match, so like I really wasn't too worried about how the outcome of it was. Just like I was just calling what made sense about the card to me was. But there was no harm, no foul in this situation. About to incidentally mill him out. So, yep, he gets another draw in. He's trying to determine what he's doing here. That was a great draw for him because he's able to literally wipe my board with this turn. So he shuffles away my Kyoshi Warriors, which I guess in retrospect was good that it was drawn in this order because I'm still happy and alive with my Sun Warriors in my hand. And yeah, he's almost dead. So, pretty sure I rip another land. Shout out to the homies. But a land does give me the option to Sun Warriors and plus holding up one activation to make a 1/1 to start chumping. If I need to do that. And I actually read it wrong because when I drew it this time, I'm like, I thought that I had the Sun Warriors was 5 mana for a second. Because it does look like a 5 mana card. But sorry for it being well statted. Feeling real good about this spot. Feeling good I mean, I guess I'm not feeling too great. He's clearly on the board, um, quite ahead of me. But my life is still heavy. I think I'm at 20 at this point. So my life feels good. And then this kind of, the Avatar's Wrath was it was a great top deck. So I didn't end up drawing a land. I ended up drawing the Avatar's Wrath. That's what happened. So yeah, just kind of tempoing him out on this particular turn. It's pretty nice. So he has to have some answers. Gran. Shout out to Gran. It's another land. You can tell we're two different players because look at his board state with his graveyard separated from non-creature spells, which matters to him. And he tucks my Sun Warriors again, which is good for him. But we're just kind of going back and forth at this point. So, like, it doesn't feel too bad, but I do rip a land here, which doesn't feel too great. Yeah, you could tell we're two different players, definitely just based off of like how we play our cards out. He plays his second Unagi. So he ends up just kind of going for it, going one card in hand. So this is nice because that land that I did end up drawing actually kind of matters because it allowed me to have an activation for the Sun Warriors. I think we may be taking back damage based off of like spells that were cast the previous turn, like from May. But we were trying to remember if we're so, and then he's also determining whether he's tapping Gran to loot for another card. I'm like, oh, by all means, you loot all the cards you need. I know how many cards you scryed to the bottom with that big artifact. He needed one of those like serpents. Like that would have been really good in his deck. That would cost reduction from non-creature spells in your graveyard or instants or sorceries or something. So he bounces back the big artifact. He plays the 0-3 that can return target insert sorcery from your graveyard. So he kind of like is in a tough spot. Like there are lines that could wreck me, but the fact that I'm able to leave up an activation for the 1/1 is actually fantastic for me. Because now we're just playing to mill him out. Like he's obviously stabilized. He's substantially ahead on the board, but I have tempo chumps basically at this point. He's trying to work through, looking through his graveyard, seeing what he can do. I just don't think he can get in quite enough damage. It's closer than I would like to admit at that point, but sometimes you just got to play the long game and grind it out. These were fun games. It was a fun experience tonight. It was nice. It's a bummer that like my crew didn't quite come in and play, but it was. I had a lot of good games like this one. This was probably one of the most epic of the games. Just like decisions mattered, and there was complications as far as like how cards are written. So he's playing the artifact as like a prowess trigger here, and he's just looking to get in. So, yep, able to get some chumps in here. Just some quality blocks. I'm able to take out one of his guys. I don't know if he knew about my token activation. I figured he would suss it out just for me not attaching the glider, but these were quite favorable blocks for me. So he actually does this. He actually does this a little wrong, because what he should have did, and it's not even the best, his blue sorcery that taps and stuns creatures. He probably should have got that, like off the O3, like sacking itself to bring something back. But he can't quite. He should have did a second, but I still had a chump activation. So, and then even if my guy's still stunned, I'm going to untap and just make, you know, one, if not two more tokens. Because if I play another land off the top, as I do, that's 2 activations. So I'm just sitting on 2 guys, and he has 1 card left in deck. And I mean, he should have did that, but was he tapped it? And he could have casted it, but so I guess it is. Yeah, I passed the turn to him, and there it is. But that's it. I appreciate you guys watching this video with me, and yeah, we draft paper. This is episode 18. I try to do this once a week, where we just kind of video the experience and kind of talk about it, hang out, and just talk some Magic. I love this show a lot. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with us. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys like what we do here. But you know what? We'll catch you guys in the next video, and appreciate you guys once more. Peace.